Hello, this is Mr. Evilcheese.
And I'm Thumbercat.
This is a video of my custom 1/6 scale X-Men Rogue figure. And there she is. Finally, mostly finished. But I probably will tweak her because there's a few things that I might want to switch out at some point. But I got it done after over, I don't know. It always takes me forever once I start one of these and then put it off for a while. But she's done now. And I made a custom base. I used one of them flight stand display bases so she can fly around. So, Rogue has been one of my favorite X-Men characters for a very long time. I started getting into comics when I was about 10 or 11, and that was in 1990 and 1991. And that's when the X-Men #1 comic came out. It was really popular. They had all the different covers, and Rogue was in it, like dressed like this. I think it was like 1992-ish. The X-Men cartoon came out, where she is also dressed like this, and I really liked the character. Her having, like, she can fly around, she's super strong, and she has her mutant power of absorbing people's powers. Can't touch anybody, which is kind of an interesting, tragic thing. And I thought she's a cool character, and a weird accent. Well, I guess not weird accent, but she has a southern accent, but it's just, they kind of portrayed it a little weird, so I just kind of liked it. It was different, very different character from superheroes I was used to seeing. And I like the white hair in the middle, also made it different. And I don't know, I just always liked it. Color of the suit and everything, it was really cool. So I thought they would have made a figure of this in 6 scale by now, but they haven't, at least not a decent one. And for Soosoo Toys and also Sideshow Collectibles have been making these X-Men figures. Then they came out with the Gambit. Both of them came out with the Gambit. I'm thinking, oh crap, they're going to make Rogue. Because I had already started my Rogue, and I'm like, man, I need to get my Rogue finished. So now she's finished, but this company's, probably both of them are going to come out with a Rogue. Actually, I think Soosoo confirmed that they are. But we could end up blowing mine away. But, oh well, I got one in my room right now. Maybe it'll be better.
Maybe. Maybe you won't like the ones there.
Maybe. I'm assuming Sideshow is going to choose this costume because they've been making like the 90s X-Men costumes for Cyclops and Wolverine and stuff, so probably going to be this costume. I'm not sure what Soosoo Toys is going to do for Rogue because they got the Gambit, it looks like 90s, but a lot of their other X-Men figures just look like different versions from movies and things, so it's hard to tell. Oh, she does also have a few extra hands. She's got fists on right now, and also relaxed hands. They're still drying. And also non-gloved hands, so she could do some power absorbing of somebody. What made me think that I could actually make this figure was this suit. Once I found out that these suits exist and I got one, I'm like, I think I could use the leather paint to possibly paint a suit to look like her suit.
Yeah, that started out all white, right?
Yeah, it worked out. The biggest issue, which is still somewhat of an issue, but not too bad, is there's a big zipper here, which I removed and sewn it up. Then it made like a weird little crease in her butt crack. So
a butt pucker.
Yeah, so I had to sew that down. So that's why that's a little messy there. But it's not too bad really. Gave her a TB League bison body, which works pretty good, so there should be some good articulation. This jacket, I bought 6 scale leather jacket, had to cut it short like this, and had to like sew in all these little lines, give that little ribbed looking thing like the flight jacket has.
And you painted that as well, didn't you?
Yeah, the jacket was red. Printed out some iron-on transfer X-Men symbols and then ironed them onto some fabric and then cut them out and glued them on here with fabric glue. Made a little belt. This I actually stole from Marvel Legends Wolverine because I had basically two of the same Wolverine, and I didn't want to try to make that little thing, so I just cut it off of him and it was about the right size for her belt.
Rude.
Yep. I did have to invert the colors because this was a black X with red in the middle. Oh, these little pouches I stole from Luke Skywalker. Star Wars Black Series Luke Skywalker, because I had 2 of him and I need some little pouches. But that's one of the things I might tweak. Is I've seen some pictures where she has slightly bigger pouches and I kind of like them, so I might try to make some fabric pouches.
What is she keeping in pouches?
I don't know. I have no idea. Makeup. Maybe miniature hairspray to make her hair stick up all crazy.
She's dust. That's how she fights.
Yeah.
She's not using other people's power. She just throws dust in her eyes.
The boots were... the boots were the most annoying part. Well, one of the most annoying parts. Because I bought, like, this part down here was a boot. But they were like high heels. Sometimes she is shown with high heels, but I just don't like that. It doesn't seem right. So I broke the high heels off and tried to sculpt in, like, kind of like how if you've seen superhero movies, they'll have that big sort of platform.
It's like a wedge boot instead of a heel.
Yeah. But they didn't, like, do the big, whatever you call this thing, up at her knee. So I had to cut that out and make that. And didn't blend into this boot very well, so I put a strap there to try to help it make it look like it goes there. And cut out these little straps and painted them green. Also had to do this back here too. One thing that doesn't quite work, I think it might be the body's fault, is when she bends her knee, this part is supposed to be like up here, but it just doesn't really work. I would have to move this way up and then it wouldn't look right to how she usually looks. So it might just be that comic characters usually got really long legs. That might be why that didn't really work on the figure. I don't know.
And also, like, the way that their clothes move isn't always accurate to reality.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the head, there was a head I was looking for. I've seen other people make Rogue 6th scale customs. And one of the ones that I thought the head looked really good was they used the TB League Mercy Dante head. And that looked really good. It really did look like Rogue. But I couldn't find that without buying the entire figure, which I didn't want to do that. So this head came out recently. Just, I don't think it's supposed to be anybody, but it just was a good looking head that I think could pass for Rogue. And I think I might like that even better than that Mercy Dante head. It turned out really good.
Yeah, I think it's a good head.
Yeah.
Especially now that it's got all that hair on it.
Yeah.
That really helps.
I got the Tibetan lamb fur, and I couldn't get the exact color I wanted. I wanted it to be a little darker, a little more reddish, and I bought a few different colors that were supposed to be that, but they just weren't right. So I got this one, was just supposed to be dark brown, and it kind of works. If you look up pictures of her hair varies. Sometimes it's really, really dark brown. Sometimes it's very reddish looking. But I'm just going to go with that. I think it looks fine.
I think it's fine.
And then, obviously, the white hair I got to stick in there. And then put the little ribbon headband. Glue that on there. Also, one thing I did was her little... Put wire inside of her...
Headband tails?
Yeah, headband tails, so it could be bent around. But also wasn't sure if I always wanted them there, so I made them magnetic.
That's pretty cool.
So, boop. I can take them in and out if I want. Oh, I did also have to sew that collar on up there because it didn't have a collar. That was another thing that was annoying. I couldn't get it to fit. It should be wrap around her neck a little tighter, and it doesn't want to.
How many layers of yellow paint do you have to put on her?
A lot.
I've worked with that yellow paint too. Like, even our acrylic yellow paint, it just does not cover.
No.
You do like 20,000 layers of it.
Well, this part, these parts of it were black. It took a lot of coats.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, I really like that paint because you can move around and it doesn't chip off. I mean, if you get really rough with it, it could chip off, but I don't think that's going to happen. Unless I drop her or something. But these turned out to be harder than I expected. I thought I would just cut a little piece of fabric to go around there and then make the top part of her gloves. But
What did you end up using?
just some white fabric we had that was weird, just weird fabric, and just painted it yellow with that leather paint. But I could switch the hands and just leave that on there. Because originally
That looks pretty good. I saw a couple of your failed attempts and they were not
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Originally I was gonna glue these to the hands and just make them for all the different hands. But luckily this kind of works where I can just take the hands off and leave those on there.
Yeah, that's a much easier approach.
But if I want to have her like non-gloved hands, I can just take it all off. It all comes out easy. Now in the comics, her mutant power is to absorb people's powers, but she gets her super strength, invulnerability, and power of flight by absorbing Captain Marvel's powers, Carol Danvers. And what's kind of funny about that is she stole all that from her, but this figure stole her hands. So it also stole from Captain Marvel, because I couldn't find hands that were right size. Female fists are hard to find, and the ones that I could find were too small. I tried to stick them on there and it just looked like she had tiny hands, and it didn't work with the wrist because her wrists were too big. It just looked odd. I have the Hot Toys Captain Marvel, and I just tried the hands to see if they work, and they looked good, so I took them and just modify them a little bit, cut off the symbol, and painted them, and it works. I did go online and find replacements for all those hands, because I don't want my Captain Marvel to not have her hands. That's not all that Rogue has once again stolen from Captain Marvel, because this was her base too. Captain Marvel's base.
Poor Captain Marvel.
Yeah, so I did same site that I got the hands from. I ordered another base, which was like $10, so that'll be on the way, so Captain Marvel can have her base back. But yeah, I put the X-Men symbol on there, and then I used Photoshop to design this little thing here.
I like that design, it's kind of cool.
And the Rogue letters there, that's from her solo comic, and then just put the green and yellow background behind it. So that worked out pretty good. So she can fly around on there now. As you can see, I went for the big hair, which she had in the cartoon and a lot of the time in the 90s. But her hair changes. There's times where she's wearing basically this suit and her hair is a lot more straight and not so big. But this is the one that I just think of most often. So that's what I went with, was the big hair. This was a little tough, because sometimes it's a little more spiky. How much white there is also varies a lot depending on the artist. Sometimes it's mostly just a little bit in the front. Sometimes it goes way back. But I just did this. I would like to get the hair styled a little better, but it's tough to do.
So is her hair supposed to be like already like that, or is that associated with her powers?
Me and Foo from Free Reviews were talking about that, but I was looking that up again. It's changed. The reason for this has changed over the years.
Oh.
It's been retconned.
I was just wondering, because that can be a naturally like genetic thing.
Yeah.
When I was younger, there was a whole family in our church that all had a white streak in the front.
Yeah, my mom's friend had that too. But that's what I always assumed, because of my mom's friend. That's what I assumed it was. And me and Fu were talking about it, and he said he always assumed it was dyed, because she came out in the 80s, and he assumed that she just dyed it like punk. And I think Fu said he's seen in a comic that he read where Rogue said that she dyed her hair white. He has a really good memory, so it probably did happen. But I was looking it up, and what I seen was the guy who created her intended for her to be older, an older woman. So he gave her the white hair down the sides of her head, kind of like Reed Richards or J. Jonah Jameson or something, just the white hair. And then someone who took over the character later either didn't know that or just ignored it and made her younger. And she just had the white hair, either whether she dyed it or not. And then what I seen later, it was explained later that she said when she was younger, the reason she had two streaks is because she dyed the middle dark to make herself look older. which seems kind of weird.
Yeah.
So the new canon is she was born with this. She's always had this, but at one point she died down the middle and left the sides, little white streaks down the sides. Another thing is, when I was looking this stuff up, I seen people in comments on posts about this, and they were also saying that they seen both ways. They seen an explanation that she made her hair white with dye, and they also seen the new way where she was born with it. So I guess they're both right. But if you've seen the X-Men movie, then they have a completely different reason. Magneto hooks her up to a machine, which causes the white hair. But I just like the idea she was born with it. But I guess it don't really matter. It's just the look thing. But I like the way it looks, so I'm glad she has white hair, no matter how it got there. One thing I never knew when I was looking all this up was, I guess Chris Claremont told the artist he wanted Rogue to look like Grace Jones when he first created her, and the artist didn't know who Grace Jones was and just kind of made up the older looking woman with the white streaks in her hair. So if she looked like Grace Jones, that'd be very different. One thing that I thought about trying to do, but I don't think I'm going to do it, is her eyes are supposed to be green, and on this head they're blue, but you really only can tell if you look really close, especially with her hair hanging in her face. And I'm afraid I'll mess up the eyes, because the eyes look really nice, and I don't want to mess them up. So I'm probably just going to leave them the color they are. So sometimes she doesn't have her flight jacket on, so I can also do that. I painted it underneath of there. This little black line I've noticed is depicted in different ways. Sometimes it's just this black line like I have it, and sometimes they show it continuing over here and then kind of like looping around. So there doesn't really seem to be any consistent design for that, so I just went with this one. This little stupid X thing was hard to do. It's not completely perfect, but I think it's fine because since it's over her boob, it just kind of looks like it's distorted by her boob. So it's not really... I mean, it's fine how it is. It was just hard to do. So there she is with her ungloved hand. She was going to touch somebody and steal their powers or whatever. I did think about making a loose glove, like she was holding the glove she just took off, but I figured that'd be kind of hard to do, so I don't know if I'm really going to worry about ever doing that, but maybe.
That seems like it might be more work than it's worth.
Yeah, it'd be really hard to make something that I don't really need. And here's where that zipper used to be. But it's actually not too bad right there, but that's covered up by the jacket anyway. Where it gets a little bit messed up is where it shows. So there she is on her base. Pretty cool. I imagine I'll probably have her flying or something whenever I put her somewhere. Is next to the Hot Toys Captain Marvel. Well, obviously this is a comic version and this is the MCU movie version, but still, this is who she stole the stuff from. All of her hands and base. She's lucky she didn't steal her jacket. She got to keep her jacket. Yeah, I guess it's because when she steals powers, she steals some of their personality and memories and things. So supposedly, I guess that's why Rogue started wearing a flight jacket, is because she has some of Carol Danvers' personality in her. So they both got their flight jackets on. If I did use this one, I would still have to trim it down. It's too big.
No, the style of it doesn't suit that outfit.
Yeah, the collar. I don't like the way the collars are. They're not that way.
Oh.
Gotcha. And there they are looking at each other. About to fight. Or something. And there's Hugh Jackman Wolverine. His outfit is just stuff I threw together. It's not really one of his outfits from the movies, but it looks like something he might wear. Yeah, that's not the Rogue that he knows. The Rogue he knows is Anna Paquin, who just kind of farts around in the background and doesn't really do much.
Well, the Wolverine she knows wears a ridiculous suit.
Yeah, he wears the bright yellow suit. Well, sometimes he wears the brown suit.
Either one of those suits just seems like he would refuse.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not wearing that.
Well, he did in the movies. So, she does have articulation. Fights and bodies have really good articulation. The only thing that's going to hinder it is the suit a little bit. But the suit's not too bad, really. I could get her in flying poses if I wanted to. This, I don't know if it's this jacket or the suit, or maybe both together. Don't really want her. And, but she's often, I kind of like the pose that she often does in pictures where she's kind of like floating, looking like she's about to fight, kind of like that, sort of. So that would work. Certain poses though, that suit does wrinkle up a lot, but it kind of looks good, I guess. Realistic. Well, there's a lot of wrinkles that way, but I don't gonna have her looking down like that.
It still doesn't look bad.
No, looks believable. That's one thing. Some of the other customs I've seen more had like spandex material, like not shiny. But it always seemed like the art made it look like her suit was shiny, like it'd be vinyl or something. So I think this just looks more like how I pictured it to be.
I bet she's sweaty as fuck.
Probably. Maybe one of her mutant powers she doesn't even know she has is she doesn't sweat.
She got a serious case of swamp ass.
Yeah.
That's what happened to the back of her suit.
Yeah.
She melted it with swamp.
I was not expecting to be talking about swamp ass in this video.
Well, you shouldn't have brought me in here then.
Man, she's got so much hair. Look at all that hair.
That was a lot of hair.
Mm-hmm.
I do kind of like it when her hair's all big like that. She looks like a wild woman.
Yeah. I don't know if it's intentional, but the headband and the way her hair is always kind of reminds me of the warrior woman from Road Warrior. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the shape of her face too, because she had the big bony cheeks and stuff, and the angular eyebrows or whatever you call that. So there she is on her base, kind of flying through the air a little bit. Kind of wish that went up a little higher, but works. Okay, so that's my 6-scale rogue custom.
I think she turned out really good.
Yeah, I think she turned out better than I thought I'd be able to do. And as always, there's some things that I wish were better and that I may fix in the future. And some things I'm just not going to fix, like I don't think I'm going to redo the entire part of the suit just to fix the back, because I think it's fine. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really like how it turned out, the hair and the face and suit and everything. Base I did kind of last minute. I like how it turned out. So it was another hard one to finish, but it's finished now. Well, I mean, I might tweak it, but I mean, finished enough to do the video. And I don't really plan on doing any other X-Men anytime soon. Thought about attempting a Mystique at some point.
That would be really hard.
Yeah, just because I wanted that one that I think Toys R Us was going to make. And then they ended up not being able to do it, so they did release her with a suit. And I got Wolverine, Rogue. They're like my two favorite X-Men. I don't have the comic version of Wolverine, but I do have a custom. That is a custom that I forgot about. The comic Wolverine that I have parts for. So I guess there is an X-Men custom that I might do. But I just don't think that one will be anytime soon, because there's a few others I want to work on that are not X-Men.
You got a big old list.
Yep. yeah, let me know what you think. I know there's lots of different outfits and looks for Rogue. And different people are going to have different favorites, looks for her, but this was my favorite look for her, so that's the one I did. Well, it's Mr. Evilcheese.
And I'm the bucket.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
So what's the big news, Sugar?
Charles says there's some new X-Men recruits coming in today. And they're going to come in here and meet us now.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
Oh, this must be one of them.
My name's Rogue, and this here's Wolverine. What's your name, Sugar? My name is Sugar.
Did you say sugar?
Yes, my code name is Sugar. I'm kinda like the Sandman. I had that same accident that he had, except it involved sugar. But I like to say it like the Southern people say it. Sugar.
Things are about to get confusing around here.
I know what you mean, Sugar. What? No, not you, Sugar. I was just calling him Sugar. But I'm Sugar. No. You don't understand.
Hey there, guys. Oh, these must be the other two. You must be Wolverine and Rogue.
Well, what's your guys' names? You can just call me Sherry.
And my name's Bub.
You gotta be kidding me, Sugar.
I'm not gonna call you Bub. As your name, I'm gonna call you Bub. This ain't gonna work. Come on, Rogue. Sorry, guys. We're gonna tell Professor X that you guys can't join the team. There's some real issues here.
Yeah, I got lots of problems in my head with other people's memories and personalities and things. I don't need this confusion, Sugar. So, I'm sorry, y'all. Well, that was rude.
Yeah, screw them. Let's just form our own team.
Good idea. But what do we call our team?
How about Sherry Sugar Bub?
Sherry Sugar Bub. Sherry Sugar Bub.
Sherry Sugar Bub.
I like it. Our battle cry could be Sherry Sugar Bub and time.
Sherry Sugar Bub and time.
Damn Sugar Bub and time.
Sherry Sugar Bub and time.